Hello, my name is Tara Reyes. This is my first year in the MBA program at St. Ambrose. I was a recent graduate last year, and this is my first MBA class, so I'm pretty excited. But this is my talent management field project, and it is based on the company Blue Book Services Incorporated, and they are located in Carroll Stream, Illinois. A few years ago, actually, when I first graduated high school, I did work for this company for a couple years. I was a receptionist, and my mom has worked there for the last 13 years. So we both have a little bit of connection with the company. So it's pretty interesting to see what they do for the actual recruiting process and dig a little bit deeper based on what I've actually learned in this class. Blue Book Services is a credit rating and marketing information company, and this is based for produce and lumber companies. So essentially, what they do is they are the main company to go to when other outside businesses want to learn if they should do businesses with other companies. So they have information on any credit issues, law issues, bankruptcy, you name it, and they have it. So it's kind of like they're the middleman on whether a company wants to work with them or not. So it's pretty interesting to see, and obviously it's important to have the right people in a company no matter what business it is. The person that I interviewed with was Carol McGoldrick, and she has worked there for well over 20 years and has all the information possible about this business and has been extremely helpful. I worked with Carol, she's one that hired me, so it's kind of interesting to see what my recruiting process was at the time and then what the recruiting process is for the bigger, more specific positions, and obviously they want to keep their organizational culture very, very strong. The business is very small, surprisingly, but this gives it a focus on how intense it needs to be to try and hire the right people. Carol's main jobs that she does at the business is she identifies the vacancies. She does help with the recruiting and interviewing process for potential candidates, which she is one of the main people you need to go to, as well as providing current and prospective employees with information about new policies, job duties, working conditions, potential wages, and any promotional opportunities. For this project, as well, besides interviewing with an HR professional, we had to develop an interview guide and predictors that we kind of figured would go in with this business. I honestly, guess I know a lot about the company, but at the same time, there's more to it. I haven't worked there in the last 4 years now, and things could have changed. So I just wanted to see what they develop and how I can relate this to what I've learned in this talent management class and how I can relate it to what they do and how they can be more successful. So what we had to do was develop interview guide and predictors. This was essentially just questions and what we would do to find out about their business and their talent management system and what recruiting aspects that they go to hire their employees. This company is very small, so paying attention to detail extremely, extremely important. And they want to recruit the right people, and this is where I had to focus on what we have learned and ask the right questions. This goes along with some of the main focuses in how people will be successful in the company. Carol gave me a couple points as to the people that I kind of look for and what people have been more successful, and this kind of relates to what information they've done and what they could change in their talent management strategies to be more successful. Carol told me that having a few years of experience under your belt is extremely important, as well as having strong recommendations through prior work experience and any schooling that you've had. Most of the jobs in this company revolve around having a 4-year degree, needing to understand different systems that we have learned over time and being up to date, and that comes with a lot of work and a lot of respect and a lot of recommendations as well. The people that they do hire just need to have insanely strong work ethic. It is a small company, but each job is strenuous and people need to have a strong focus on what they are doing. Employees definitely need to be organized and develop the best work possible, as well as keeping that organizational culture very, very strong. These are main focuses, and just talking with a little bit helped me develop questions even more to get down to the point as to what they do and how they do it and compare and see if there's a better way they could do things even better, basically. So I had to develop a comparison grid, and this was based off of the questions that I asked, so the main topics, which involved like talent retention, talent, recruitment, just general questions as to what they do and why someone would want to come to this business. So what I did was I had a comparison grid, and I had the main points, which was the topic, the questions that Blue Book had answered from me, the best practices, any recommendations I may have for them, and I developed it in each point as to if I was an interviewee, if I would want to work for this company and what they have to offer or what work they could need and to be more successful. Some of the main questions are revolved around what does your HR department and other departments do to optimize talent management in the organization. This is kind of difficult but kind of basic at the same time. And she gave me pretty straightforward answers as to they use the employees that they have now to help with coaching and just certain issues that they have to keep things on pace and help other employees, new employees, get a hold of the system. There is other ways to do this, but this is explained in my paper as well. Another point that I talked about is, does your company make a stronger attempt to look for diversity? Diversity in companies has become extremely strongly noted, and they don't go out of their way, but it is, overall the company is pretty diverse, so it's kind of like whoever, obviously they want the best employees, but it comes with what experience they've had and what they can really offer to the table, and diversity is good, obviously, yes, and can bring more to the company, but again, it all depends on the candidate and who actually has the work ethic for the job. We have, does your company measure talent and productivity? Based on this answer, she gave me some input that there are quarterly and yearly analysis from the managers based on each employee's quality of work, and it kind of bases if they are doing the right work or if we need to bump up the system and reboot what they need to do. So at least there is a progress. So someone coming in, they know that they are getting pretty much analyzed through their work and whether or not they will be successful. Another point is, what are your future plans for talent management and how well do you think your company is doing now? As of now, they plan to keep their whole system the same and just kind of work year by year based on employees that are coming in. If they're looking for younger generation people to come work for these businesses, may not have as much experience, but that kind of develops where they've come from, what experiences they've had, and what they can bring to the table. And another question is, how do you successfully recruit applicants? They do have job postings, and they're probably their strongest thing that may be attractive and not attractive to the job is that they are very straightforward with their job description. They give every implement detail as to what the person will be doing and no sugarcoating anything, because if you sugarcoat it, then someone's going to think this job is so great and may not have the work ethic possible. So having a strong applicant pool and using a strong job description is definitely a plus. This goes with their recruiting process. They usually have a phone interview if they are interested in someone. That's based off their resume, potential recommendation letters that have come in, and there's about a 3-interview process, and that involves the HR manager as well as the hiring manager for that department, and they're very, very involved with meeting people, bringing along their best employee to work with them as well, and just kind of see if they would be the right fit. Some more questions involve, how do you feel about your company's organizational culture? They're a small business, so if you don't get along with someone or don't have the work ethic and are not getting your job done, you're not going to fit in very well. This is like the main focus as to why people stay there for so long, is because they do enjoy the culture. It's very family oriented, like they like to work with employees so they are able to balance their personal and work lives and be successful and make the business continually successful, which is a huge plus if you're coming in as an applicant, knowing that they are understanding as long as you are the one getting your job done, working with employees closely, and you do have to work with other departments, and that's a good way to be successful. Another question, the biggest difference that Carol makes in their company is that they are so close knit. Once they pay attention to these employees, it's a very positive note that people want to help each other out, work with each other in the businesses, and continually make it successful. And overall, the biggest focus here is that they have, very good pay. The culture is very good. It's a small family-oriented business, and they have been extremely successful. It's extremely attractive, and asking the right questions and finding out about this was great. Obviously, there is some things that need to be worked on, but I put that in my comparison grade as to recommendations they could do, just a little bit more input as to how they can broaden their applicant pool and find the right employees and continually have that success. Because most of the people that do work there are actually, like, they've been there for multiple years. Like I said, my mother's worked there for over 13 years. Many of the other employees have worked there for 10 to 15 years, you name it. And it's something helpful. But like, it was very interesting to break down a company's talent management process for someone you used to work for and what they do for their other employees. And now you kind of know why or why not you do get along with these people, or what they work for and what the company does utilize. So it's very interesting to do this field project based on Blue Book services. And this is the end.